The Wazir's Revenge. Once a prince visited his uncle, the king, and his cousin. He met his cousin, but his uncle was away. His cousin had a beautiful lady as his guest. After a lavish meal, his cousin, carrying a pickaxe and a little plaster, took his guest to a place where he opened a door with a pickaxe. It was a tomb. His cousin looked at the prince and said, "You must go back now." He went in with the lady and closed the door. The prince returned to his kingdom to find the city captured by the wicked wazir. The prince, on the wazir's orders, was blinded in one eye. It was the vengeance of the wazir for the prince having injured him when he was a child. The wazir ordered that the prince be killed, but the men who took him away to kill him, pitying him, told him to go away quickly. Escape to Baghdad. The prince escaped and reached his uncle, who looked sad because he did not know where his son was. The prince told his uncle about his earlier visit, meeting his cousin and the beautiful lady and going to the tomb. His uncle rushed there and broke open the door, which had been sealed with a plaster by his cousin. Inside, his cousin and the beautiful lady lay dead. His cousin died without telling his father that he wished to marry her. The king was heartbroken, but his troubles were not over. Suddenly, the kingdom was attacked by the forces of the wazir. The prince joined his uncle in defending the kingdom, but the king was already disheartened by his son's death. The wazir's forces defeated them and killed his uncle too. The prince escaped to Baghdad, finding shelter and peace in the kingdom of Caliph Harun al-Rashid. The treacherous wazir. A king arranged marriage for his son with a neighboring king's daughter and decided to send the prince to meet his future wife, accompanied by his wazir. He didn't know that the wazir was disloyal. A cousin of the princess wished to marry her but had been rejected. That cousin sent a message to the treacherous wazir to either kill the prince or somehow to spoil his chance to marry the princess. As they journeyed through a desert, the wazir told the prince that there was a spring of fresh water close by called El Sahara. The prince dismounted and washing his hands and face, he drank from the spring. Immediately, he turned into a woman, for it was a magical spring and the wazir had known that. The prince wept and asked the wazir to return. He decided not to go back home or to meet the princess till he found a solution or till he died. Saving the prince. As the prince sat grieving, a horseman rode up to him and asked him why he was sad. The prince told his story and the man replied, "You have been betrayed by your father's wazir. He is the only man who knew the secret of this spring." The man took the prince with him, telling him he could help him. He said, "I am the son of the king of jinns." At the palace of the jinns, the prince was looked after with great courtesy before they reached the dark land where there was a spring of sparkling water. "This is the spring of the women," said the jinn. "Drink and be well." The prince drank the water and in a flash he became his usual self. The jinn sent him to the princess whom he married. Then he returned with his bride to his father to tell him of the treachery of the wazir.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.